right, so let's go ahead and look at ULTA. John, you want to take a look at this? So we're going to go ahead and share this here. Let's go ahead and talk about it. ULTA. So the biggest thing is when you're getting these huge sell-offs like this, I want to point this out to you. This should really help out everybody. This right here, supply, guys. Drop, base, boom, big drop, okay? Where are we dropping? Look down and to the left, and as you can see here, this was in I wouldn't even say this is an imbalance, okay? So how do we have some great traders out there on Twitter. Chris Koreanic, right? We love him. Makes some great posts and has some great charts. When we look at imbalance, we look at the size of the candle. The bigger the candle, the bigger the imbalance. Would you say that the candles coming out of here are that big? They're not that big, folks. They're just not that big, right? And so if price gets underneath here, which it's right at the tip, I mean, basically this green line here, 223.15, it can serve as a stop and a hold, and maybe price pulls up from there. This is what we're looking for. However, I love edges, and if we can get down to the yearly edge down here at around 206.75 to 208, that's where I really want to get into this position and pinpoint into earnings going into December. Typically, what's going to happen is you're going to put a lot of fear into retail. You look across the board, monthly extreme bearish, weekly extremely bearish, yearly bearish. I mean, this entire thing is just bearish, right? And so people are wanting to get short, and when the fear comes in, most retail traders are going to continue wanting to short right here. But what we want to see is a nice little flush that's pushing down into here like this, and then a pullback up, and then I want to be taking that trade once we take over that higher high, and then we push up to 23 to 38% to 50% of this candle, giving you a huge win, just like we did in Tesla. And so that's what I'm looking at, folks. And I'm also like looking at the range here, right? So the overall range, when you look at it this way, started, okay, right here. Price has moved back. How far would you say this is right now? Maybe 76% or so? Let's go ahead. I would say it is about 76%. All right. So anyways, this is what I'm looking at. This is where I'd like to see price come to. If I want to get short this name right now, I mean, it's come down so far, and we know that it's right here at a double bottom. I'm not necessarily wanting to get short unless we can close underneath this 223.15. And then I want to ride this down into that level I just gave you here at 207. All right, folks, thanks so much. Have a great day. And, well, you know what? Before I even, let's go ahead and just plan out this entire trade. So if we get the move down into the edge for some reason, and again, it can bounce right here, guys, but let's give you two different hypotheticals. Okay, if we get the move all the way down to here, I'm probably looking at a pretty nice, stop that's down here, like $10 or so. Okay, because I'm thinking long term, so I want to leg into a position like this with like a Delta 30 option. So what does that mean to if you're new in trading? Delta 30 option just means for the underlining. So if ULTA's trading at 206 when it gets there, for every dollar it goes up, we will gain $30 in value of our option. Okay, that's what a Delta 30 is. If you buy a Delta 50, you're going to basically gain about $50 in the underlining option, okay, per dollar move of ULTA. If we're going to leg in and we're not too sure that this area here is going to hold, we're not trying to go full force in here. So we're going to buy the Delta 30s out here, right? Let's just say DE 30s. All right. And as we start to get confirmation, what we can do, okay, is go ahead and layer and start buying something a little bit closer. Once we take out this high here, we start buying something a little closer. You can buy some DE 50s, right? Or what you can do is you can just add on to this DE 30 after you get your confirmation. And let's say your typical buy-in's $1,000. Okay, and let's say that these we're buying about 60 days out. Let's say that these cost you about $3. I'm just going to start with one. Okay, and as it builds value here, say it gets all the way to like $5 here. All I can do here is buy one more that puts me at $800. So I have two contracts for 60 days out. okay? Or if you're feeling a little bit different, let's say these are a little bit cheaper and they're 250. You could buy 2 other 30s, and as you get confirmation, buy one more, and then you get 3. And that way we can trim. But that brings the next question: how are you going to trim this? How do you know where to trim, right? Why at Trendy Options do we have such amazing targets? Well, we teach them. They come from supply and demand. They come from Fibonacci sequence. They come from range. There's a lot of cool things that you can learn in here that are going to make you a better trader. And what I can do is just show you really quick. What we typically look for is we're going to pay attention to this really big imbalance candle, right? This big sell off here. And basically, my first target that I really want, folks, is once this thing starts wrapping around here, I want to at least get about 25% to about 35% of this move. So what am I measuring from here to here? 25% of that move probably comes in about right there, right? And then maybe 40% about right there. So I'm shooting for, 240, 233 to 245, somewhere in there. Okay, not to be exact on there. So that's what I'm looking for in ULTA. Now, if here's the other scenario, let's say that the double bottom works. I see this often too many times, and this is a great thing to watch if you can be patient. Say that you're sitting in front of a bunch of monitors, and one thing you can do is just have ULTA in the background, right? And you're like, man, I really want to trade this thing because I think that once we turn around here, this could start looking really beautiful. Well, what you want to be looking for is what I call a flush low. And so what happens, watch my candle here, okay? What happens is we get a flush, all right? And what happens, we take out all these people who just put a stop under here who think the double bottom's going to work, all right? And so they get creeped out. And they get worried and they're like, man, I'm out. I lost money. And then what happens is this candle here ends up closing up here, and all of a sudden you got this base candle, and then the next day you got this, right? And this poor sucker who got stopped out here, they just weren't patient enough. All right, so let the flush happen, let it reclaim that level, and then back it up and get started with your delta 30s. That's how we leg into a position. Okay, so that's what we're looking for here on ULTA. Give you a couple targets up here to the upside. Again, if we can get that move down here, this is really where I'm interested. Sometimes with something like this, you want to even take this to a monthly chart. And let's see if we have something a little bit clearer in here. Okay, something that looks a little bit better. And really we do. I mean, I like this imbalance here, folks. And look at the confluence with the edges. So it's actually going to look like this. I'm using this wick in the body here. Boom. That's what I really want to see. Let's get it done. Good luck to anybody that's out there. And if you have any questions, check us out. Have a great night. I hope this video helped you. See you on the other side.